so now there is a lot of confusion in a year the majority caucus in parliament. Now you be no home commercially. Eti mamene ora Jonathan Asante or any encomo of an opportunity to come imagine. Now empowerment is saying.
I'm not more nipa sorry ente mom na ente bisia na enyanme.
Kessben
When you don't want to be as an about. Yeah, that's the pay. Why service to God and country and TVB. Very well. Now, the other kind, a lot is happening on the NPP front. Recently, on Monday, vice president and candidate of the party announced the campaign team. And there is also a hit in parliament about a supposed reshuffle SSA on the majority side. Akwakoye and Sembebre. Joe say was say reshuffle be emba. But let's pick it from the campaign team no aspect no. Na Kufuor Dr. Babudu Baumia abo modin na party agiatum say wo momeboa no more execute the 2024 campaign no yenhwe their expertise and the woman so edeba on board to help the candidate and the party at large.
Kessben 92.9 Asidankwa.
What is our question every?
Ava mitium maybe Zeri.
Well, dear, I want to Brahmana question will be Samuel. I try to say, the crowd go round. I mean, the public enemy and Sabu will want me to say, and Nissan Quadu on account. And you are more do on my cap.
Oh, Zambo. Obit is a wine.
President Kufuor.
President Kufuor. He's only serving as an advisor on that committee.
But you see, President Kufuor by now is supposed to be above the MPP. His name shouldn't have appeared at all. If you want to advise, go and get it. Because I think even when NDC people also need a counselor, they can go to him. But unfortunately, the President Kufuor is not behaving like President Rollins in terms of growing above his party. He's still a little too partisan for my liking. And I'm sure do some purpose one now. Why we are now collaborating in a very bad light. In as much as I felt to say it was not necessary. But my first argument said, at this point in time, Utimu said there is that apathy within the Ashanti region.
Okay.
Against the current leadership. Sir, Ufa Obiti said, Kufuor, he belongs to that particular stock of the support base of the party. With that, Betimi psychological ama down Kofono, Atias say, oh, Mampeni Kufuor support Yura Dr. Baumia dia well any bitterness and answer our apathy against the party leadership in terms of government. But I think on the image and the stature of President Kufuor, he is far above the partisanship.
He's above partisanship in the context, they say, or your former president or your statesman. But the question is that, when receiving some level of invitation, I mean, all this while, you don't really see him at a year party in the functions, bebre, until say Abia party ever drawn in and one more be invited. And say, would that really be his fault?
It would not be his fault, but it is also equally his fault. Because Mr. Osei Kyei-Mensah-Bonsu has he had cause to criticize any policy of our current government that has gone wrong? He has not. So he's still partisan. Rollins was on the neck of Professor Mills, Mr. Muhammad. So even when they were inviting him to their own party functions, no Muslim, because they don't know what he's likely to say. Don't forget, President Kufuor had cause to call the name of President Rollins and what thanked him when he won the 2016 election. It means that he played a certain role above the very party that he founded. So, you know, the do purpose one and penny for our Bermuda said, yeah. Yes, not fear in Shanghai, a son said, Ghana, and I say a general. Say a party interest. No, Ghana, and I say a general. It's a party, a trap player, and ya. Let's say penny for be to sell Kufuor, let's a bunty mean Qatar. Just because of what? What do you really need? I wouldn't mean Qatar. And there is that huge water apathy in the central region. Why is that the case? It's because of the current leadership of the party. And in Myanmar, be a man for 2 years. I told you, Dr. Bawumia, why would Dr. Bawumia add the president's name as advisor?
President Kufuor.
Yes. I don't see a wrong move.
Oh, you're the boss. And I mean, this is somebody I want their channel for a very long time.
It is obvious that you will go to him for advice. Mm-hmm. But when you officially add his name, don't forget you say you have your own vision. So it's like one, you are not entirely your own man. You still tie your apron strings to the president for success. That will equally go against you politically. You have your own vision, and the president himself, during the time a more year campaign for the presidential candidate, now Canada, Japan, Kobre Japan, no, the establishment. With respect to how the economy has degenerated, some of the promises that they've not been able to fulfill. And President Kufuor came out to say, at the end, you destroy the record of the current government, but who we are, and you think that Ghanaians are gullible. Where we know, but someone not Omadia too. Why is it the case there that about me, no can't say he has his own vision? Oba can see way, no. Penny any cost to complain about him. He hasn't. But when you have a president whose ranking is very low, 37% or so, Ghanaians say we are on the right, the presidency is on the right path. 73, according to Global Info Analytics, the previous year by him, they say Ghana, we are on the wrong path as far as the presidency is concerned. And you know, Omampenia, one kasa who dodge free some of the records, no.
Yeah.
Manentinasi, consult him in the background. Don't put his name forward. But you see, politicians are saying that.
But I don't know what will it change. I mean, consulting him at the background, you know, and they say obey announce Magana for who's a banner the advisory committee and paying for saying there was so obey your man paying so a foot on. I mean, does it really change anything? Does it really matter?
If the ranking of the president is very higher, it is a plus for you.
Okay.
It's a plus for you. At this point in time, one man complaining about where we've gotten to. And you know, in as much as is your boss, don't add his name. Do your consultation with him behind the scenes. But tell you what you can't want to do. A jirigua, Yabaka. Say you why are they more? But maybe share political scene now. The political terrain is not good for the president and the vice president. Our vice president now, who say you have your own vision and mission and agenda. No? You still let the president be part of your way. That's also me and engineer Kobre Japan. Who share campaign or
Yes.
Now, what may do for me, it is. It doesn't show a man of principle for me. This is a man I personally like from afar because of his position, his outspokenness, and then what independence in terms of the thought processes. But to put Canada, Japan on this our position way.
It could be say you invited Kennedy.
One day, because you see, and someone working during the campaign. It shows that all the things you said were just campaign gimmicks, but not on principle. So on principle, if I were a Kwabena Japan, I would have declined this particular way.
Yes, but this is not President Kufuor serving as candidate. This is Bawumia.
Yes. There's someone in the contest here. Have you forgotten what Kwabena Japan said? I say near and Yama do and Yama and Papa Swan Yama could do. Say, almost all this mess for the party and the government. And he say, Mom, quite more lead. And you see, the Waba campaign team no as a Aidoo, special Aidoo or something of that sort. Speaker, one budget. Because you must equally be thinking of what others will be thinking of you.
But one would say that this is politics, I mean.
So politics must not have principles. If it doesn't have principles, then it means this is why we are here. We allow our politicians to say all manner of things in terms of promises and other things. And when they win, we sit idle. We should start, after a while, we should start a series of demonstrations against the party in government, whoever or whichever. So that, you see, your translation higher, your term of 4 years, I think that we can do right by the nation by keeping the government or whoever on its toes based upon and some of kind and then who say organized labor is it TUC?
Yes.
He is demanding a social contract. And to the Saudi was such a fear. Now, sir, what statistics were we in our government? Now, one more transparency and here, you might no more books. Sanya Masamahama, or no, was so a person wayana. Or so we need a baby books to be a good at Chelamo. And yet, a friend a baby go come into one customer study. No one will say, you bet me a trade my forecast say, fine. Almost so my phone was so much less. Now, also, kind in terms of austerity measures. So, obey you, Minister 6 days near there. Then they will also have to hold you by the scruff of the neck. So you don't go beyond that. That is governance. But this, our democracy, where the electorate doesn't have that much power, when the voting is done, that is where we find ourselves today. And then, we will have to learn, like who's the Arabs in those places now. They will hit you with series of demonstrations. If you are not careful, either they will torpedo you, or you have to make those changes to affect the welfare of the ordinary person on the street, so that we don't create that so-called political class that are untouchable. Really leading to civil insurrection, and that is something that we have to prevent. Okay.
Yes, in wrapping up, does this really constitute a winning campaign team for Dr. Bawumia?
You see, the common denominator is the record of the party in government. That is the MPP. What is the record? The individuals who contribute their quota. Some of them are very resolute. They have resolute personalities within the MPP. Or contribute to a quota within the MPP. I don't see any other way outside accommodated by APR. But others also think that the campaign team is not that solid, like other previous, campaign teams. And they also have that view, and I think that they are expressing that they are entitled to that. But as to whether it could reflect in winning, it's a difficult thing because surveys are about not less than 6 or so. Minina is not in favor of the MPP. So the common denominator is the MPP party, not just the personality. In OSHA Afrobarometer, PDB report about in terms of OSHA Global Info Analytics, a fixed solutions, economic intelligence unit. Everything points to the fact that the MPP is likely to lose the election, and the NDC is going to win the election. These surveys, difficult and adverse. I have said, Speaker, for the first time, I see the MPP though in government, but they are the underdogs, as far as the 2024 elections are concerned. And it's a difficult, angle. So that is why some of us felt that they shouldn't have brought Dr. Bawumia, but they should have brought a new face who will be able to confuse the electorate. Me, what you say? if the record of the MPP in government is bad, he will not rely on that record. But in terms of the Tabaumia, you cannot run away from it because you are part of the whole thing from the beginning up to the end. You cannot. People will accuse you of dishonesty. People are now forcing you. Why not now? If you think that on principle, these things are hurting the ordinary Ghanaian and the economy, why not now?
Very well.
If that question is with me in year no, then it means to say, according to Oman Peningu for 2008, last week December, MTC for Kase, reduce the fuel price because international market will not perform. 1 year last week of where no Professor Mills and 1 year. So some even felt that President Kufuor did not do well for President Kufuor, but that is a controversial, conspiracy theory that others were using behind the scenes.
Very
so we need to be very,
I'm grateful for your time, Manopei.
All
right. And Dr. Jonathan Asante na meneno Edin Kobono, a political analyst, speaking to some of the issues. Now, 20 after